In the last video, we have seen how to name the alkane molecules. In this video, let's learn about the nomenclature of alkane molecules. The general formula CnH2n, where n refers to number of carbons. Here, the number of carbons start from 2. That means there has to be minimum 2 carbons in the molecule and then it goes on. If n is equal to 2, we are going to get C2H4 and there is a double bond between these two carbons. In case of alkane molecule, if there are 2 carbons, we call it as ethane. Here, the suffix ane is replaced by ene. That means this molecule is ethene. If there are 3 carbons, we are going to get C3H6, nothing but CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. Since there are 3 carbons, we can call this as propene molecule. Now, if there are 4 carbons, we have C4H8. That is the molecular formula. How can we write this molecule? We can write it in 2 different ways as shown here. You can see we can write like this, or we can even write like this. That means what? The position of the double bond is being changed. In this case, how to name the alkanes? We always choose the longest chain of carbons, first rule. The second rule is we number the carbons with the minimum possible numbers. If I number from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4 will be the double bond carbon numbers. But if we start numbering from here, it will be 1 and 2. And while naming, generally we name the first number what we have used here. Not the 2, just the 1. That means what? It is 1-butene. In some of the textbook, they even write like this, but. At the first position, the double bond is there. So, but1-ene. Either way, it is correct. Now, for the second molecule, we can either number from left to right, right to left. Doesn't matter. The double bond carbons will get 2 and 3 number. In that case, take the least number. So, between 2 and 3, 2 is the least number. Therefore, it will be 2-butene. These are some of the alkenes with no substituents on them. Now, let's solve some more examples with substituents on the longest chain. Observe the given molecules. They are all substituted alkene molecules. For these molecules, first you identify the longest continuous carbon chain containing the carbon-carbon double bond. Say for example, for the first molecule, I can either choose 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3 as the longest chain. But you have to take the parent chain with the double bond in it like this. And then numbering. How do we number it? Number it in such a way that the double bond will possibly get the least possible number like this. If we start from here 1, 2, 3. So it's better to start from this position itself. Now, at the second position, you see that there is a methyl, a substituent. So, it's a prefix. So, how do you call it? 2-methyl. Since there are 3 carbons in the longest chain, prop-1-ene, because the double bond is at the first carbon. That's why. You can even name this as 2-methyl, 1-propene. Both are correct. Now, let's take the second molecule. Choose the longest chain, including the double bond. So, this will be the longest chain of carbons. Now, if we start numbering from here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. But if we number from here, you see the double bond carbon is getting the second number. And where is the methyl? At the second position. Therefore, 2-methyl. How many carbons are there in the longest chain? 5. Therefore, the root word is pent. And where is the double bond? Second position, 2-ene. Pent-2-ene or 2-pentene. That is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. Now, let's take the third molecule. Choose the longest chain. This is the longest chain. Now, numbering, if we number from here, both the methyls as substituents will get the least possible number, right? The double bond will get the third number, but you know, the functional group for the molecule is double bond, not the methyl. They're just substituents, alkyl substituents. Therefore, you have to number from this side. Although this will not obey the lowest sum rule. What does that mean? The substituents are at the fourth position. So 4 plus 4, 8, right? Otherwise, we would have got it as 2 plus 2, right? But still, we should not do that because double bond should get the more priority. That's the reason. Therefore, the name of the molecule is 4,4 dimethyl. And there are 5 carbons, therefore pent, 2-ene. This is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. Now, let's take the fourth molecule. Now, you see here, the double bond is over here. It's written in a vertical fashion. It doesn't matter. Always choose the longest chain including both the carbons of the double bond. That means what? If I take like this, 5 carbons will be there in the longest chain, but it is not including both the carbons of the double bond. So it is wrong. So you have to include both the carbons of the double bond. That is the correct way of taking the longest chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If we take like this, we will get 5 carbons in the parent chain, but the whole idea of functional group carbons will not hold good here, right? We are not including this carbon. So that's why that is wrong. So this is the correct way, and there are 2 carbons here in the alkyl group. Therefore, you can call this as 2-ethyl. This time I'll write like this, 1-butene. This is also correct. Okay. Now let's take the next molecule. See here. Choose the longest chain. If we take like this, 4 carbons, but if we start from here like this will be the longest chain. And if we number from here or here, it doesn't matter because you can see it's a symmetrical. Both the side it looks same, right? Therefore, how do you name this? At third and fourth position, there are 2 methyl. Therefore, 3,4 dimethyl hex. At third position, there is a double bond, hex 3-ene. Now, the last molecule. As I told earlier, choose the longest chain including the double bond like this. So, start numbering from the carbon because it is terminal. We call them as terminal double bond. So, this is terminal, this is non-terminal, non-terminal, terminal, non-terminal, terminal. So, if the carbon is gaining the first position, terminal, all right? So it need not to always number from this carbon, okay? So you have to do it from one end to the other end. So here, anyway, it is terminal, so you can number from there. And you see what are the groups we have here? Ethyl and methyl, alphabetical priority. Therefore, 2-ethyl, 4-methyl. There are 6 carbons in the longest chain, therefore hex 1-ene. That is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. Now let's take some more complicated molecules and give the IUPAC names. For the first molecule, let's choose the longest chain. This is the 1. And how to number it? See, if we number from here 1, 2, 3. If we number from here also 1, 2, 3. Anyway, the carbon is going to get the third number, but if we number from this side, the methyl substituent will get the least possible number. Therefore, we should start numbering from here. Now, choose the longest chain including both the double bond carbons, and we have 3 substituents here. So that's why 2, 3, 4. Since there are 3 methyls, so trimethyl, and there are 6 carbons, therefore 3-hexene or hex-3-ene. That is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. Let's take the second molecule. As I told earlier, although this doesn't look like a longest chain, but this is a longest chain because this is where the double bond is present, right? And now, if we take from here, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we always choose the longest chain with more number of substituents. If we take like this, we have one substituent here, which is ethyl, and the other one is a propyl. If I take like this, there is only one substituent like this. That's why this is the correct way of taking the longest chain and numbering like this. So choose the longest chain including the double bond carbons with more number of substituents. The substituents are ethyl and propyl, alphabetical order, therefore 3-ethyl, 2-propyl, no branching, it's N-propyl, so simply write it as propyl, and pent 1-ene. Pent 1-ene. That is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. Now let's take the third molecule. For the third molecule, either we can choose the longest chain like this, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, which one to choose? We choose in such a way that it will have more number of substituents. If I take like this, we have 1 and 2. But if I take like this, right? Methyl, ethyl, methyl, more number of substituents. Therefore, this is the longest chain. 6 and 7. Now, we have 2-methyl and ethyl. So, ethyl alphabetical priority. 5-ethyl, 2,6-dimethyl. And there are 7 carbons. Therefore, hept 2-ene. Now, for the last molecule. Choose the longest chain. Either way, right? Because it's a symmetrical molecule. Now, let's number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What are the substituents we have? There is methyl here, methyl here. Then what is this substituent called as? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this carbon as a substituent, it is secondary carbon. Therefore, it is a secondary butyl. And what about this? It's a methyl. We should not consider secondary S for the priority. So we have to take only the butyl B. That means what? This should come first. Therefore, 3 secondary butyl and 2,4 dimethyl. There are 6 carbons, therefore hex 2-ene. That is the correct IUPAC name of the molecule. I hope I made this concept clear, and if you still have any doubts on nomenclature of alkenes, you can comment them in the comment box. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time.